Hello, all you beautiful people here to watch me watch the EU election or something like that. So I'm going to say now, if anybody wants to join in, feel free. Message me on Discord and I'll invite you to the server I have set up for this event. I think that's just the easiest way. So I know I have a number of viewers from across Europe. So if any of you guys want to come on and share your perspective, like I said, just send me a message and I'll get you a link. Let me just check my Discord server. If hello, all you beautiful people here to watch me. Oh, okay, there we go. Sorry, that was Boomer posting there for a minute. I'm just checking my Discord to see if anybody's messaged me yet to come on. Nope, not yet. Not yet. Okay, let's see here. Wait a minute, is Jim doing a stream now? Oh, no one told me Jim was doing this. Let me just double check. So if Jim's doing one, there's no point in me doing one because we share an audience. So.
With me, I'd be wrong.
Oh, oh, Jim just started his. Fuck. Oh well, we'll do this for a couple minutes. If no one shows up, nobody shows up. In the words of a wise man, it is what it is. Nothing I can do, but I digress. So let's see here. Let's look at the results so far. So the results look like they're kind of been a mixed bag. Not all the countries have come in yet. In line with what we'd expect from Poland, it seems like Poland, the right basically won every seat, be it the center right, the right, or the further right. Okay, so how it works is it's kind of let's just go through what the different coalitions are, because in Europe there's a whole bunch of different coalitions. So we have the European People's Party. So that is the fake center right party. So that would include people like just if you think of a generic center right party, I'm just trying to think of a couple off the top of my head, like the Liberal Party, like any sort of liberal party. Let me just bring this up over here because I'm a professional. It's funny how political party names work, because People's Party is often the name of a right wing parties, which I think is kind of interesting. It's not really what one would expect. Okay, so Austrian People's Party, Croatian Democratic Union, let's see here, National Coalition Party, Union for a Popular Movement or the Republicans, Christian Social Union, New Democracy. Did did Fidesz get kicked out? Let me see here. I thought Fidesz was part of the European People's Party. Maybe they finally kicked them out of it. No, they're still part of it. Oh no, they got kicked out. Okay, so yeah, Fidesz got kicked out of the European People's Party. That's hilarious. Yeah, so they're the Christian Democratic, just lame-o center right coalition. Then we have the ECR, the Europeans for of Conservatives and Reformists, which was founded primarily by the Conservative Party in the UK. That was basically almost the entirety of it. So it was founded by I guess you could say, like center right to right wing parties that are more kind of Eurosceptical. They're explicitly Eurosceptic, whereas the People's Party is pro-European, pro-Europe. So it's kind of interesting. Um, Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Okay, so let's see who is all in the Alliance of Conservatives and Reformists. Oh yeah, what I was going to say was interesting is right wing parties in Eastern Europe tend to be very pro EU because they get a lot of gives me that from the EU. So that's why Fidesz, despite being a very right wing party, was the member of the center right coalition, because they're pro EU. It's a very difficult game they're playing. And I think it's kind of bullshit because they're like, oh, we don't want, we're against the EU, we're against all that kind of stuff. But, oh, hey, Matt, do you want to come on? You live in Hungary, so I'm sure you know about, well, at least you used to. I'm sure you know more about this than I do. Anyways, Matt, message me on Discord, I guess, if you can come on at the moment. So, anyways, yeah. So the ECR, it's kind of somewhat more right wing parties. We have um, the Finns party was a member of it. I'm not sure if the Finns party got kicked out though, or something like that. Oh no, the Finns party got kicked out. Are they? Yeah, they got kicked out or they switched. It's very confusing. I guess a lot of people just got kicked out in prior to this. Like the AKP party in Turkey used to be a member of Europe of Conservatives and Reformers. That's kind of one of the weird things about European political parties is European political parties will have members in them from other countries. Like in Canada, like the Conservative Party in Canada and the Republican Party in and Likud and the National Party in New Zealand and all these other groups uh, are members of the Europeans of conservatives and reformists, despite the fact that they aren't like in the same continent even. So that's kind of that's ECR. Then we have the one that's further to the right of that. Most of ECR traditionally has been the Conservative Party. I think the only two large parties that were part of it were the Conservative Party and the Law and Justice Party in Poland. There's a couple others that were somewhat large. Oh, yeah, the Danish People's Party is also in there. And Brothers of Italy. Okay, so they're the right wing parties, but not the far right parties. Unless you want to consider Law and Justice or Fidesz far right. River Run says we was kings. Thank you very much. That's going to go straight to the Bills. Just another note. Just sorry, this is completely random. Okay, so I think one or two people didn't really get the last video I put up about the whole body pillow thing. I didn't deliberately go into like a hentai store. I was at Anime North the other day, which is just a convention, and as I was walking by, there are people there who sell body pillows. So I thought it would be a funny like gag to fake beg for money when it's for taxes when it's obviously going to go to buying like a body pillow. So I didn't buy one. It was just a joke. Let's see here. Okay, so then to the right of them we have Europe for Freedom and Direct Democracy. So that is a couple different populist parties. It was mainly just because UKIP won so many seats and the Five Star Movement won so many seats, but no one really. Trying to think of how to describe it. Um, they don't. They don't really have a defined ideology other than kind of being populist and anti-EU. If any of you have heard of Corwin, what's his name again? Janusz Corwin Mike, or however you pronounce his name, the edgy libertarian from Poland. He's also part of that party. Let's see here. We have Five Star Movement. Alternative for Germany is also a member of that, and a couple other smaller parties. Then we have the European Nationalist Front, or Europeans for Nations and Freedom. Let's see here. Europeans for Nations. Once again, there's so many Eurosceptic right-wing parties, it's kind of ridiculous. We'll get into the actual results in a minute. I'm just looking at this. So the members of the Europe of Freedom and Nations include Freedom Party of Austria, Vlaams Belang, or whatever the far right party is in Belgium, the Front National, which they changed the National Rally for God knows what reason, Liga Nord, the Freedom Party, and UKIP. Because UKIP kind of split, and the right wing of UKIP went off and a became its own, became the Brexit Party. Sorry, stayed as UKIP, and then the left of and center of UKIP became the Brexit Party. Once again, if anybody wants to come on and join in, just send me a message on Discord, and I'll invite you to the special server I have set up for this event. Let's see here. And then we just have some that are not aligned with any group, and those tend to be the, I don't know if you want to call them extreme right. That would be parties like Golden Dawn, or Jobbik, or anything kind of like that. Yeah, non-aligned. And then there's just others. So then on the kind of the other side, we have the Alliance of Liberal Democrats for Europe. My understanding is they are the most pro-EU group. They actually support, I think, European federalism, like basically making Europe into a nation state, and more or less eliminating the remaining sovereignty of the individual ones. Now, for you Americans here, and Canadians, liberal means something very different in Europe than it does in North America. It means classical liberal. In North America, it means left wing. It means kind of the same thing as like social democrat does in Europe. So they define liberal in Europe as being centrist, which I don't agree with, because I think it's like left wing socially and free market. Like the Liberal Party in Canada is a bit like that. The Liberal Party in Canada is kind of, I guess you could say, moderate on economic issues, and I would call the Liberal Party of Canada far left on social issues. They're one of the most pro-abortion parties on earth, for instance. Actually, it's not possible to be more pro-abortion than them. Then we have Social Democrats, Nordic Green Left, which is really weird. I don't really know how to describe them. They're like the far left parties, like Sinn Féin and Podemos, and that kind of thing. I think they're somewhat more Eurosceptic. There is a Eurosceptic left. It's not very big, but it's really weird. The Eurosceptic left is really bizarre. Okay, let's see here. All right. All right, someone's coming on. There we go. Hello, my good man. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, how are you?
Good. Whereabouts are you coming to us from?
I'm just from Scotland.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, someone's coming. There we go. Hello, my good man. How are you doing today? Oh, if you could just mute your or put headphones in.
I'm just from Scotland.
Just because I'm getting a reverb.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Let's see here. What was I thinking of again? Oh, if you could just mute your okay. All right, and we have a couple other people who are coming on, so let me just send these out. Hey, Matt, how you doing today?
I'm doing okay, Arch. Just got my mic plugged in.
Cool.
But yeah, I've been looking at this all day, so it's a pretty good showing for the nationalists so far, particularly in Poland and Hungary and Austria, because those were places that were expected the nationalists were predicted to take big losses in those countries. Well, at least in Poland and Austria.
Yeah, in Poland, the Law and Justice seems like they won, but Poland doesn't even really have uh, left wing parties with any seats anymore. I don't think.
No, it doesn't. They What happened was in the last election, all the left wing parties joined together in a coalition.
Hmm.
Um, but the electoral threshold to get elected is higher for coalitions than it is for single parties. It's 5% for parties and 8% for coalitions, and they just came in under 8%, so they lost all their seats.
Right. I mean, it depends how you want to classify the. I'm trying to remember what the center right party there is called.
Civic platform
Civic
would
platform.
be.
Yeah. Depends how you want to classify them, but they're still probably better than center right parties in most countries.
Yeah, they're yeah, like I said, they're further to the right. And well, it's worth pointing out that they had to run as part of the coalition, the European coalition, and they joined a bunch of other centrist parties, and they still came in behind Law and Justice. Because what happened was a couple weeks back, there was a documentary released in Poland on allegations of abuse in the Polish Catholic Church. And this was timed specifically to hurt the ruling party because Law and Justice is very associated with the Catholic Church in Poland. And there was actually a poll released last week that suggested the European coalition had a 10-point lead. What it looks like basically is that Law and Justice may have lost some support, but it didn't go to the European coalition. It went to the Confederation Party, which is a party that's even more right wing. They got about 7% of the vote, I think.
Well, you'd
If we're
probably.
looking at this from sort of
Oh, sorry.
anti-EU perspective, there's not much to hope for from these Eastern European parties. They're generally very pro-EU.
Well, they have reason for being pro EU.
Oh yeah, they get money. They get loads of
Well,
money.
well, it's more than that. You know,
Oh
these
yeah.
countries need to be in alliances for economic and military defense. You know, Poland.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a sort of long-standing fear of Russia, so they want to be sort of part of this bloc.
Well,
Yeah, if any of these
understandable,
countries,
considering
It is.
Russia kind of imposed puppet governments on them for the last 60 years.
Oh yeah, yeah. Um,
yeah, if any of these countries left the EU, they'd be totally isolated. You know, you can look at the fate of, like, say, Ukraine or Serbia to see what these countries would be like if they weren't part of the EU.
yeah, but at the same time, if you look at places like Hungary, you have to say it is quite disappointing. Like based on the stuff the EU's done to them, the fact that they're still so solidly pro-EU.
Well, the EU hasn't been that bad to them. All the EU has kind of waved their fist around the money and stuff, but like they haven't. It wasn't up until recently that they were even facing kind of any sort of real scrutiny for it. You know? So
Didn't Hungary get threatened though about something?
they got threatened with Article 7 proceedings, but that hasn't even gone forward. And with the new EU Parliament having right wingers having a larger voice in the new EU Parliament, it's increasingly unlikely that that will go forward.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Macron's party is a member of the Liberal Democrats.
Yeah, they're a member of the ALDE group.
Yeah.
How is Macron Poland?
Oh, Macron's pulling great. It's kind of a meme that he'd lose if there was another election held today.
Yeah, the thing is that there's the sort of first and second round of the French voting system. So you know, getting something like 20% is not a disaster, really. We're looking at this realistically.
No, like in the runoffs, he would still probably win. Well, no, because I mean, they explicitly the reason why France adopted a runoff system was to prevent the Front National from ever winning.
Yeah.
And like they said that like that's not a conspiracy theory. That's what they literally said
No,
at
no,
the
no.
time.
We have to point out that it's as what happened in Poland. All Macron's party had joined the centrist coalition, and they still came in second behind Marine Le Pen's party.
Yeah, but it's Marine as an individual would never really be able to form a coalition in France.
Yeah, I kind of think it's time for her to go. She's really not really a good leader.
I don't think
Can you
so
hear me
either.
now? I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's something wrong with my mic.
Okay. Um,
Wait, I thought how if there are like weekly riots going on in France, how is Macron polling good?
I think it's just a
Presumably
failure
because he.
of democracy, maybe.
Eh, I suppose so.
I think that there really isn't that much optimism to be had in these elections because despite decent polling, this is the European Parliament. There really isn't that much which can get done at the end of the day.
The
With
EU
it.
isn't a very democratic organization in general.
No.
Um,
Um,
until like individual nation states start doing their own Brexits, there's not much to hope for.
yeah, but the thing is that the European parliamentarians, as in the MEPs, they basically just sign what their intern tells them to do, and the commission is the one with the real power. So this is all just a sort of display. Really, it's just a show. It doesn't really mean much.
The
My under
commission is appointed by the individual nation states, right?
Yeah, this is the Democratic Party.
isn't the EPP and SD like in a permanent coalition? To
Oh
like
yeah, but there's no difference. There's really no difference
no,
between
no,
the
no,
two.
but like aren't they in the ADLD just in a permanent coalition? So like it's not possible for anyone to vote against centralization of power, is how I understand it.
Effectively, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But like
I wonder
the
if
ALD, the EPP, and S and D are all they're all just sort of they're. I mean, this is the European Parliament. The only thing which matters is reform, and they all will vote for the reforms.
okay, well, okay, it looks like the AFD picked up a bunch of seats in Germany.
That's not surprising. I mean, this is Merkel. This is Mama Merkel we're talking about.
Yeah, but I mean it's better than nothing. So let's see
Yes,
here.
for sure. I mean, generally speaking, I think the strategy in democracies should just be to take down the sort of mainstream right wing party and just destroy it.
The
And
strategy
then,
would be either to take them down or to force them to adopt your positions, which is like Denmark is interesting because the Social Democratic Party in Denmark basically takes a very anti-immigration line now
yeah,
because they were getting they were losing support to right wing populists, and right now the results in Denmark are like the mainstream observers were like, "Well, the populists are losing in Denmark." Yeah, the populists won in Denmark because the ruling party now
Because they got what they
has a
wanted.
populist line.
Yeah, both the center right and the left in Denmark. Denmark is interesting. I think it's of Western European countries, I'd say they're the least screwed. Depending on how you want to
yeah.
count Italy as Southern or Western Europe.
I think the least screwed countries is Eastern Europe for obvious reasons. But out of Western Europe, I would say the least screwed would probably be um, I don't know. Would you count Denmark and the Scandinavian countries as Northern Europe or Western
Um,
Europe rather?
yes, I would.
I
Norway's
mean,
actually not that bad. Like Norway's not as bad
Norway.
as you think it is.
Not nearly as bad as like Sweden, their neighbor. There's significant anti-immigration. You don't go to jail for being against immigration generally. Is that from what I've heard?
Finland, I think, is also like that. I mean, they all have severe problems, but I'm just comparing them to like the UK or
Oh yeah, no, no,
Germany
no.
or or Holland or something.
I mean, Finland is pretty far left, but it doesn't really matter because nothing's really going to shit yet. You know.
A couple of months ago, actually, in Finland, there was like a basically another Rotherham
Yeah.
grooming gangs running around. I think it was in February when it was released.
Let's see, what does it say for Finland. Okay, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the final outcome is. So far, we have. I don't know. I can't really tell much from these results so far. Other than, I guess, the two largest ones lost seats. But.
Yeah, they did. The EPP and the Social Democratic group.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the center is collapsing, at least in terms of the parliament.
Yeah, I mean, in Britain, as far as are there any results for Britain back? Because I mean, we basically already know what it is.
There are a few in southwest England. Brexit won big.
Yeah, that's not at all surprising.
Brexit will probably win in Wales too, I would imagine.
Yeah, most likely. The sort of Brexit party, they really focused their campaign on southern England, as far as I can tell, whereas UKIP, which just flopped miserably, was focusing more on northern England.
Sargo is kind of screwed then.
Yeah, no. UKIP was basically was just so awful this campaign. They killed themselves.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if this is finalized, but the National Front has beaten by one seat Macron's party.
Really?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. No, I heard about that.
Eurosceptic parties tend to do better in EU elections because fewer people vote, and most of the people who vote are often anti-EU.
That's right. Yeah, it's still not enough usually, but they do better quite a lot. Although the turnout for this election is, I think, very high compared to other EU elections.
How much do you think Sargoy Avocad has affected the results? Because he got way more news coverage than I expected him to.
I think I know what Sargon was trying to do. What he was
Into
doing.
the party?
He was trying to do Donald Trump, but he failed miserably. As in, during the 2016 campaign, Trump would say something silly, and then everybody would talk about it. Whereas it's very different with Sargon. As in, people called Trump a racist, and then people in the working class rallied behind him. People are calling Sargon a sicko, a pedo, and that just instantly turns the average working class person off. Because the so-called dirty smear merchants in like these sort of mainstream newspapers are the people who the average working class person actually listens to immediately, and he just gets dismissed because that's not the sort of thing people look at. So he just got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, if they had called him a racist or an Islamophobe, that actually would have gone over better.
Yeah, he made some like comments about the Holocaust and some other stuff like that, which got lots of attention. But that's not what the focus was. The focus was about his like
Wouldn't even risk you.
His stupid comments about like rape and.
Now, to be fair to Sargon, he was probably screwed no matter what, just because UKIP got completely decimated when the Brexit party emerged. So I don't think it mattered what he did.
The other thing is that it seems like a large reason for the Brexit party was a personal grudge that Farage had against Batten, so that wasn't Sargoy's fault. But hey.
No, that's interesting. Oh, sorry, just an update. Greece has just announced a snap election.
Oh, really?
So Greece will have an election. Syriza will... Sorry? Syriza will probably get thrown out in the next election. And the center-right will probably come back into power, so...
No Golden Dawn fantasy.
Golden Dawn, I think, will probably stay the third largest party. That's kind of where they've been.
I don't know. Golden Dawn do kind of freak me out, not gonna lie.
The thing with Golden Dawn is their entire leadership is in jail. Like,
yeah.
They basically were shut down. The fact that they do as well as they do...
It is kind of a testament, but...
I don't know. I can see why I'd vote for Golden Dawn if I lived in fucking Greece. Our economy gets screwed. Migrants still coming in. Must be awful.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably vote for them as well, but I do. Some of the rhetoric is kind of freaky.
Well,
What?
they're literally a goon Nazi group, and like they had their chance, to reform and actually become something capable of holding together a broad-based coalition, but they didn't do that. So
Like if
Yeah,
Stormfront got put in charge of an actual serious political party.
like, they're massive neo-Nazi losers. So they're
yeah.
similar to like Kotlylaba in Slovakia, just no goon Nazi group that doesn't actually do any good for people. So
I
FD
mean,
is way more
I
effective.
find that they did the whole thing with the homeless people, which was not a stupid move. It was, but I think people saw through it. To be honest,
well, they didn't build on that.
no, they didn't.
Um,
To be fair to Golden
they've
Dawn,
got
though,
their
they
they've
arrested
got
their
their
entire leadership. So
Yeah,
That's true, but well, the thing with they've got their space of supporters, but they can't expand beyond that. They can't become a party like Fidesz or ANO or Lawson.
I wonder
it
where
wouldn't be
Fidesz
Greece.
is gonna sit. What block they're gonna be in.
Well, Orban's already indicated that he's going to align himself with Salvini because Salvini wants to form a new group.
Oh, okay, interesting. Something good. I think if when Italy has its next election, the League will probably win, like big. So I
Yeah,
don't.
they've more than doubled their support since the last election.
I think they should just change their name to like the Liga Italia or something, and just drop Nord from their name. Because they do get a lot of support in the rest of the country.
Yeah, that's
I
just
mean,
true.
they're
It's
even winning
not
big in the
really
South now,
aligned.
which is key to their. Well, Salvini himself represents a constituency in the South.
Yeah,
It's it's funny because in Italy the north is conservative and the south is conservative, and central Italy is full of communists.
that's
So
not at all surprising at all
yeah,
if you think about it.
That's where
Machiavelli
Rome
Machiavelli I used to say it. Italians are better people the further from Rome you get.
is.
Something like that. Just trying to see where the UK stuff
I
is.
find like northern Italian nationalism to be extremely irritating based on what the north of Italy did to the south of Italy in the 1860s. I just so yeah, I think the fact that they're kind of getting past that and form a united coalition is quite good news.
You know what's really funny is Southern Italy voted to keep the monarchy.
They did, yeah, that's right.
The Northern Italian monarchy who conquered them.
It's really sad.
And I
I
think
mean, they destroyed.
Sardinia Piedmont actually voted to get rid of the monarchy despite it being their
Monarch.
yeah,
Yeah,
their
that's right.
monarch.
I mean, the Sardinia Piedmont were really just backed up by Lord Palmerston and French, though. So like, who the hell even?
Italians beat the fuck out. They should just go back to being city states at this point.
Well, there is actually that whole Venice like. I think there's a movement there in Venice, but I don't know about anywhere
Become a
else.
city state again?
Yeah, there's like there's a Venetian independence movement. I'm not. I haven't really
That's
kept
never
up.
gonna get off the ground.
I think what Liga wants is to make Italy more decentralized. Um, which it's just fine.
Yeah,
I'm not really in favor of breaking up large countries. I think they could just make them more decentralized. Like I don't want to break up the UK. Um,
yeah. I mean, I'm no fan of the Risorgimento or the uniting of the UK either, for that matter. But the fact is that we live in a modern kind of centralized time, so there's no point.
well,
It's actually damaging.
I don't know if any of these states would be viable because like we applied this logic to Yugoslavia where we're just everyone's just going to be their separate countries, and it was an unmitigated disaster, and most of the countries there are just not viable, like their borders don't make sense. um,
I mean, we did the same thing to Austria-Hungary and a whole load of places over the years. Um, Generally, not intervening is the best thing to do, though.
Yeah, that. How's the right doing in Austria? Are there any results from there?
I don't think they're doing great in Austria.
Uh,
Nah, they're not doing
No,
well.
they collapsed in Austria. They collapsed. Well, it was like some sort of weird Russian thing,
Hackers.
I think.
The
Russian hackers.
the other thing to keep in mind in Austria was the center right party went further to the right. Um,
That's true. Yeah.
like, because they have a coalition government and they adopted a lot of the rhetoric. Now, a funny country is Slovakia because they have like a Nazbol party there, and Slovakia, the former president of Slovakia, said stuff like, Slovakia has no mosques, nor do we want mosques. Uh, like they'd say stuff like that, and then he'd just be like, just things like that. Every Muslim in our country will be placed under surveillance.
I think the Slovakians are part of that kind of Eastern European group of sort of pro EU but fairly nationalists, aren't they?
Yeah, more or less. Well, it's a very, very politically homogenous country. You know, it's not that big, so most
Do
of
you
the
think this?
parties kind of rally around similar policies.
I think
Oh,
this Eastern EU like pro EU sentiment might change if Germany really starts leaning on them to take in more Muslims.
Yeah, that would be the red line, but right now that really hasn't happened.
oh, sorry.
I
Just
mean,
announcement to fan favorite Nazbol gang, aka Serp Kerp, is here. So
Hey,
hey, man.
Oh,
so did Sargon win his seat?
He's not gonna win his seat. It's
he's
not his
on the
fault.
ballot.
It's because
Why don't you have faith?
no, but it's not his fault. It's Farage took like 90% of UKIP's support, so there's like zero chance.
But UKIP is better than Farage.
Yeah,
It
they
is.
are. Farage is a sort of Captain Ahab, sort of just get Brexit through and doesn't give a shit about any other issue in terms
Well,
of nationalism or any of that.
Well, he's like an old line kind of Tory who's nostalgic for the empire. I mean, that one of his arguments for Brexit was that the UK should not be taking in immigrants from Europe; it should be taking in immigrants from the former colonies. Like he's
Yeah,
just,
I mean,
he's
yeah,
just like some old Tory who just wants to see Britain ruling over.
I'm
brown
pretty
and
sure
black
he
people.
literally was a member of the Conservative Party who just left over the issue of Europe.
I'll be back in a second.
didn't Golden Dawn say that their immigration policy was landmines on the border? Something.
Doesn't Golden Dawn want to retake what they lost in the Turkish War of Independence?
I hope so.
I
Yeah,
thought they were actively irredentist.
Return Constantinople to
Yeah.
Greece.
Yeah, no, they literally say that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Okay, so is anybody here actually
Population of
British?
Istanbul is bigger than the entire population of Greece.
Are you British? Can I ask you, for your European elections, is it single district plurality?
No, it's
Or first past?
proportional.
Oh,
That's
So
why
then
UKIP
wouldn't-
gets so many seats.
wouldn't Sargon get?
No,
or is he at the
because
bottom of the list?
no, because what happened was okay.
Aren't
So
they supposed to get like 3 or something?
maybe, but like
I
90.
know all about the whole Brexit party and all that shit.
Right, but the polls I saw, they were at like 2%.
Shouldn't they still? So they'll only get like 1 or something.
I don't know if they'll get any.
They're supposed
Actually,
to
it's
have
not
3.
proportional. It's
They're probably
Dahant.
at like 2 or 3%.
It's
I thought they're
Dahant, which is
supposed to
gonna
get
do.
3 seats or something.
Last poll I saw said they'd get 0, but we'll see. Staffordshire results. Brexit
To
overperforming.
point out that based on the polling data, UKIP was actually dead before the Brexit party came around. It was really low before that as well.
Actually, the UK uses the Haunt method, which is very hard to explain.
You can't really explain it at all
It's
on air. You have to read.
All right, I'm reading BNL. So, Northeast Lincolnshire, Brexit overperforming. South Staffordshire, Brexit overperforming. Um, uh, Kingston, Brexit overperforming. And very well in general.
My
Yeah,
personal view,
that's totally what was expected.
and this is actually something SERP came up with, is even if it's rigged, so like the Front National or the Danish People's Party, if any of these guys can't win, it destabilizes and delegitimizes the system if they come in second or third place and they're not allowed to ever participate in government.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is that what we need is to get the sort of mainstream ones to die, or the mainstream ones to move right, so that it's just the sort of far left party plus these sort of parties which can't have power, and that sort of reveals the sham. If you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it kind
It
of
reveals
reveals
just how powerless the right wing is to affect any change in the EU, basically.
it's basically impossible to affect any change in the EU anyway because the Commission is unelected and is the ones who hold.
If they had like a 60%, a two-thirds majority, they probably would be able to do anything.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find. Does anybody know a site that's posting results for the UK?
BNL Newses. Um, um,
The BBC probably is.
Almost certainly.
Yep, the BBC is.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and the Guardian is now reporting that the gotten between 27 30.
London Labour's as is expected.
Heavy loss is
Liberal
expected
Democrats
for
are likely to
Central.
overtake Labour. Good God.
Yeah, I thought Lib Dems are going to be the biggest anti-Brexit party, aren't they?
Yeah, the Green Party's also on the rise. I mean, these parties are just.
That's not good.
Greens.
So is it possible that the Greens will be able to break into actual British politics though?
Yes. Well,
Oh,
yes.
well, do they have like an area that they're popular in?
No, I don't think
They
they
have
will.
like one constituency in southern England at the moment, which they keep getting.
I
But,
thought it's that because of single district plurality, they have to have dominance over a single area.
Like UKIP got a lot of votes in the last election, but the way first past the post works.
yeah,
I dream
that's right.
for the Greens to go full Ted Kaczynski.
Aren't
Yep.
they- Isn't it like the opposite of? Isn't it just gay?
Yeah, basically. But that's my dream.
Oh, okay. So
not
sorry,
reality.
we have a little bit of results. So far, polls have come in for northeastern England, and we have 2 seats for Brexit and 1 for Labour. So we'll see.
Okay.
Wow, the Brexit party got 40%.
That's much better than expected. Although
I don't know if the
you
voting's
polling-
finished yet, though. So
The voting is finished.
no, I mean, sorry, if the counting's finished is what I mean.
Oh right.
I forget
40% is like
Rom-
highest estimate for the Brexit party.
oh yeah, It's so weird that Romania is part of the E EU.
Romania was so screwed over by the EU, probably more than anybody else.
So,
Yeah, there was like some referenda there where they tried to get rid of like an extremely corrupt ruler, and he just got thrown right back in.
Mm-hmm.
you would do.
I'm pretty sure V did a video about it in case you wanted to put yourself through that torture. But you know,
Oh, V.
I find it hard to listen to him talk for any length of time.
Think about his voice. I don't know what it is.
don't know what it is.
Okay, so I'm saying there's more results in, so let me just refresh this and see what's going on. No, I don't see any yet. European Parliamentary.
With the Chase mobile app.
I always wonder. So, what other countries are close to leaving the EU? Is Italy the next one that would probably leave?
The closest ones I think are Italy, the Netherlands, Denmark, as far as I know.
Yeah, I think.
I thought that Italy was the closest to leaving. I thought that they had a higher level of support for exit from the European Union than Britain itself.
Let me see here. Oh yeah, okay. So, I think Salvini said whether or not they're going to have a referendum to leave the EU is dependent upon how well Eurosceptic parties do.
So the Greens are doing really well in Germany, which is just brilliant.
It's gay. So nationwide poll for the UK, 21% counted. Brexit is at 31%. Lib Dems are at 19%.
Wow.
Labour's at 16%. Greens are 11%.
We're the Conservative Party.
Conservatives are at 8%.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I'm just trying to
That's
see if there's a
what-
more recent. I'm just trying to see if there's an update somewhere.
Apparently, the Greens did really well in Finland. With the national like gains.
So, from my understanding, the Social Democratic Party.
Let's see.
Sorry, go on, sir.
So, oh, sorry. That was my thing. I thought that was you clicked it, but I clicked something. So anyway, isn't the Green parties disrupting the power of the Social Democratic parties throughout Europe?
Yeah,
Last few years.
yeah. They've been racking up wins across Germany and Scandinavia. The Social Democrats in most of these places have fallen to about maybe 15-20%, which coincidentally is roughly about the percentage of the people who are employed in the civil service. It's mainly because the Greens are more like urbane, because the emphasis on the left has transitioned from like working class issues and such to like upwardly mobile professionals and millennials in big cities. They don't really care so much about unions and stuff. They care about the environment.
German
They
Jews
care about
warned not to
friendly-
wear kippas. I'm just looking at the BBC front page.
That's not at all surprising.
Basically, their constituency is not working class anymore. Essentially,
No.
can't really appeal to that class struggle sort of mindset.
Well, they're essentially managing people on a utilitarian basis of pleasure principle.
Voting turnout in Britain was unbelievably low compared to the rest of Europe, and I do not know why.
Apathy, I guess.
Yeah, but it's Brexit, man. There's stuff going on here.
It's sad that the Greens are so like dildo on most issues because I actually like a lot of their policies, or at least some of them. I kind of like I like things like renewable energy and like electric vehicles and making the economy more efficient and protecting the environment. Like I like that stuff. The issue is in a lot of cases they're actively undermining that sort of thing.
If you put it up to a referendum, how many British would support abolishing first past the post?
Well, they did try a referendum a few years back, and it was defeated.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh, the commission's going to lose its majority. The EPP-SD is lost its
that's
majority.
very good.
What website are you on so I can look at these?
I'm looking at I'm alternating between CNN, The Guardian, and
Can you put the
BBC.
links in the chat?
Okay, sure. So I mean that's a step in the right direction. I don't know, like what's interesting actually in Poland is Kirkitz, or however you pronounce his name, there's a big movement to bring in single district plurality and to get rid of proportional. In Canada, every time they've tried to pass proportional or any kind of electoral reform, it gets voted down. There's not really a desire for change. Actually,
the other thing is that the major parties always massively lobby these things against the reforms, and they're usually successful.
now it's in okay. So actually, it's kind of interesting what happened in Canada because we had a huge thing. So the three major parties in Canada had three different things. The Conservatives wanted to keep first past the post. The Liberals wanted to switch over to ranked vote, and the New Democrats wanted proportional. If ranked vote had been passed, the Liberals would have had a majority for the remainder of the time Canada's a country, because both Conservatives and NDP would put them as their second choice. So, in any case where the Conservatives didn't get a majority or the Liberals didn't come in third place, they would just win indefinitely.
So is all of France in?
I'm not sure. Oh, Forney, apparently they have your biggest fan in the chat. Juan Gilo Gemirez.
Oh, hello there.
So yeah, so the Conservatives,
Because on the Guardian, France looks really interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, sir, do you believe the polls that show Macron would win re-election?
What does that even matter? It would be like he wins re-election with 30% of the vote.
In the runoff, though, he'd still get a majority.
Yeah, but the runoff would have like 30% people voting or something.
Okay, that's
probably.
true. Do you think?
Looks like Salvini's doing well.
Do you think a lot of people just gave up? Like, and that's just an issue.
I don't think France is will fun. I don't think the Fifth Republic will last the next 10 years.
I mean, we can all kind of LARP about it's happening, but I think it actually is in France. I think if there's a country that is actually going to collapse, it's probably France.
I think that their state is dysfunctional on a very deep level.
Yeah, I'd agree. Also, like, they basically had to put a large portions of the country under military occupation to put down the yellow vests. Like, that's my understanding just from the like, they were able to put out a total press blackout, which I haven't seen anything quite that big in my lifetime. And like, I think they brought in like EU soldiers or something to put the protests down, or I've heard things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Netherlands, the right isn't really doing good. What I've seen, what it looks like in the Guardian.
Yeah, the Netherlands is.
Sorry.
What's going on in Ireland? Someone asks.
There is zero populist right-wing parties in Ireland.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is how anti-EU is Sinn Féin?
They're very pro EU.
They're very pro-EU. Okay.
Sinn Féin
campaigned
is
against Brexit.
the Antichrist.
It's funny because they were
Yeah.
pro-life for a long time. I don't think they are anymore, but they were for a long time.
Yeah, when they pretended to be a Catholic party,
Yeah.
they were pro-life. Now they're just a standard social democratic party.
Yeah,
What are you
Ireland-
guys? What website are you guys looking at? Because people are saying there's more results coming in from the UK.
I've got the Guardian open.
The Guardian has the most results.
Okay, let me go to the Guardian. Oh no, I have the Guardian open. Okay.
Just refresh it, I guess. France's results, it looks like, are all in, and it's pretty interesting.
Okay, so the Front National won.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody knew that's going to happen, but
So in the regional result, the east of England, the Brexits got 3 members. The Lib Dems got 2 members. Greens got 1 member, and the Conservatives got 1 member.
Yeah, it's weird.
So it's-
In Cyprus, the major
I'm sorry.
left wing party I think is like a communist party.
Let's see here. So
But is there a Euro communist party bloc in the?
I'm not sure.
socialists in the SND.
Is it just Democratic Socialists and Greens?
Man, UKIP are doing a lot better than I expected. They got 6% of the vote.
I
Oh.
told you.
Will they get a single seat though? And that's the question.
Well, it doesn't. Well, I guess it is. It isn't pure proportional.
No. It's very, very weird. Don't even bother asking.
No, you can't explain the. What is it again? How do you pronounce it, Argent?
Who?
Argent, how do you pronounce the Han or the Hog
Haig?
method or whatever?
Oh,
Haig
Dahan?
method is-
I think it's the same as Dahan.
Scotland is pure black pill, so don't even bother thinking about it.
Scotland is isn't Scotland basically a communist? Isn't it basically a neoliberal hellhole at this point?
Yeah.
Well, is it just like? Is there a lot of drugs there? I'm guessing just off the top of my head.
I mean, there's parts of Scotland where there's a lot of drugs, but I mean, it's just such a sort of bureaucratic, almost totally left wing. Like there's no.
It's sad
Okay,
because
so-
Edinburgh is such a beautiful city.
Sorry, the actual communist.
It's beautiful.
The actual communist bloc of the European Union is Initiative Communist and Workers' Parties, and the only one that has seats is the Communist Party of Greece in the European Parliament.
It's weird because like there's Maoist parties that are part of Syriza, but they don't sit with the Communist Party.
Well, the Communist Party of Greece is a real communist party.
Right.
They're not even. I think they actually might be Eurosceptic as well, so that's something, I guess.
No, they're like really Eurosceptic. Modern European communist parties are like all pro leaving European Union. Usually,
I mean, sure, that's something in their favor.
Is there anything gayer
But the
than
socialist
Euro-communism?
Euro-communism is just more radical social democrats.
Like socialism for the 21st century?
That's what it is, dude.
It's getting rid of all the good aspects of communism and making the bad aspects worse.
Literally why they call them revisionists.
Let's see here. I love how Liga Nord is considered far right.
Everything to the right of compassionate conservatism trademark is far right.
I thought George W. Bush was far right, so that's wrong. Everything to the right of is Theresa May far right?
She actually wanted Brexit to go through, so yes.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of who's not far right. Okay, Bill Clinton. Everything to the right of Bill Clinton is far right.
In Malta, the socialists went big, or at least they are. In Croatia, the EPP is doing okay.
It's weird because the Conservative Party in Croatia isn't actually that bad. But as with all Eastern European countries, everyone's just pro-EU.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I actually have a lot of respect for Sargon for actually like running for office.
Oh yeah, so do I.
Like,
I'm not gonna complain about him ever again, probably.
because I had dissed the guy a bit because I thought this was going to be like Gamergate 2.0 or the Liberalists. It was going to be another project he started and left. But even if he was running an election where UKIP had no chance of winning, he at least put his money where his mouth was and put in an effort. So I have to respect him for that, for actually like trying.
The thing about the Sargon thing is that he was totally screwed from the get go, because all of his like autistic quotes from 2015 just kind of came back to bite him.
White niggers.
Yeah,
Say that.
it was mostly the sexual stuff that got him. It was mostly that because that's the sort of stuff which can you just have a headline about it and then move on with your day and he's gone.
Hmm.
Guardians reporting to no surprise, Democrats are doing very well in London.
I mean, I support Sargon over Farage because Farage doesn't stand for anything at this point, apart from Brexit.
I'm kind of, I think I kind of get what Farage's thing is. I guess he just wants as broad a coalition as possible to get UK out of the EU. Like that's just his.
That's right.
And he
as
just
as in he's like obsessed with it. That's the only thing he cares about. I mean, I kind of get it, but that's not productive in the long run.
yeah, but I don't know how
what
much. To be fair, his UKIP was only viable at the EU Parliament level because of first past the post. So I think the idea was like there was no real reason to adopt other policies.
Farage did a big flip flop on first past the post because it worked for him in European Parliament elections, and then he got something like I think in 2015, 13% of the vote, and then like one seat, and so now he really is against it.
I think Sargon's pressing charges against the asshole who threw a milkshake at him.
Good.
Which there's a bunch of people like, oh Sargon, you shouldn't do that, and he's just like, if they're gonna like fuck, if we're gonna have to live under their bullshit, then they're gonna have to live under their bullshit.
Yeah, I
the
agree with
guy
that. But I do think that the whole, I think I forget who said it was, but it was first it's milkshakes, then it's assassinations. This will
You
lead
know,
to violence.
Actually, Nigel Farage did a rally at Edinburgh, right? And I do volunteering down at this place with some nuns, and the nuns actually turned up to the Antifa counter protest against Nigel Farage.
Of course they did.
I was so depressed.
That's blackpilling. That's
What? I mean, were they pantsuits?
I mean, I don't really want to talk about it.
Were
It was
they
just
gray-haired pantsuit nuns?
no, not really, but yeah.
So, from the Guardian. Oh no, that's the Telegraph. Let me see where the Guardian is. The Telegraph has the Brexit Party at like 40% so far.
Yeah, they're like a 38%, I think,
Mm-hmm.
which is higher. It's like their highest.
that is very good for the Brexit Party, not really for the nation very much.
Well, it looks like the Well, oh no, Scotland hasn't come in yet. Okay, that's the reason why. Okay, so they picked up a whole. So they've won in East England too.
Again, that's not surprising.
All those like Grug Wojak Britain memes. Brexit means Brexit. Both not sat together.
London's voted Liberal Democrats, which is it's not surprising.
I thought they would have gone for Labour at this point.
Well, I mean, in terms of the mayoral elections, they voted for Satan based on purely racial reasons, it seems, and he's going to get voted forever. But I think for EU reasons, I think that they were really for the Lib Dems who are pretty hardcore in this issue.
Boris Johnson, is he going to be the next leader of the Conservatives?
It seems possible, but if you're black-pilled, then Rory Stewart becomes the next leader, which would be a disaster.
Is like Boris Johnson even edgy at all? Like I've never seen any.
He's not. He's super in favor of immigration because he has like a sort of Turkish Circassian ancestry.
Right.
But again, he's just one of these people who's in favor of like Brexit, sovereignty issues, and I think a few other minor social issues.
Boris Johnson is a Turk.
But no, he's not edgy at all. He was mayor of London, of course.
Well, I hope has a heart attack or something.
Okay, so in Italy, unsurprisingly, Liga won. Then the center left got the next most, and then Five Star Movement got. So Italy and the Eurosceptic parties have won a strong majority of the
Yeah, it's
EU
good that the
provinces.
5 star movement is sinking because they are insanely stupid.
Yeah, but I mean, at least it's Eurosceptics. Let's see here.
Orban won in Hungary. Not surprising.
That wasn't a surprise. Yeah.
Spain doing?
Fidesz didn't get like. Oh, sorry, no. Jobbik only got one seat, I think.
Oh, Jobbik has completely gone nuts.
Ooh, Viktor
they
Orban
abandoned
won
their old platform.
21.
I was gonna say Jobbik abandoned their platform years ago, and they've become try to become a centrist party, which has caused all of their old supporters to abandon them. I'm surprised they even won any seats at all.
Tommy Robinson has been talking about something.
Is Tommy Robinson running for a seat?
Yeah, I think
he's
so.
running in Northwest England
For UKIP or Brexit?
UKIP.
as an independent.
Oh, it's an independent. Okay.
Oh, UKIP wouldn't let him join.
Tommy Robinson blames social media deplatforming for his loss, which, I mean, it's got a certain amount of truth to it, but there's no way he was going to win.
Where have you gone?
My issue with Jobbik was always the Turanism, which is just like really larpy and kind of dumb.
What's been happening in Spain, actually?
Well,
Vox Party, which got banned from like public debates or something.
okay.
So the Sucks have been doing pretty good in Spain. Got a big Suck Dem. They got the Suck Dems that have 20 seats.
So I have a hard time reading this as a non-European on the Guardian. So is this good or is this bad or is this expected or what so far, continent-wide?
It's more or less expected. The thing which was unexpected was the big gains which the Greens made, which is not as bad as you might think because they're kind of dividing up a lot of the left-wing votes.
Also, the Brexit Party is so far doing better than people have expected.
Which, I mean, that's kind of how polling works. I mean, it always seems to be that the poll is slightly off and the right-wing party gets a little bit higher than was expected.
I wonder why.
Gee.
I think part of it is people just refuse to admit they're going to vote a certain way. Like, I think that definitely probably happened with Trump and, like, Doug Ford. And
Well, I remember when I took polls, they have deliberately, and a lot of the people that are taking those polls, if they're college students, for example, will be intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, Sweden makes you literally show which party you're voting for, and Sweden is infamous for its shaming. Sweden is just the absolute taking the cake when it comes to that sort of thing.
Yeah. Plus, with some of these more established right-wing parties, they have very good electoral machines. Like Fidesz is a really good political machine in Hungary. They know how to get the vote out the vote. One thing they do, which everyone knows about, and no one really wants to protest it, is they go around to Roma communities and get the Roma to vote for them through Gimme Debts.
Yeah, that's the thing which I always find depressing about right politics in general, is that they're good at electioneering, but they're just shit at long-term strategy.
That's democracy, though.
I don't know
Yeah,
if
for sure.
Vox is going to win any seats in Spain. Maybe they'll win, like, one or two.
I think they'll do pretty well. They've been doing pretty well in the elections.
I mean, they've had some serious censorship on them.
Isn't Spain not really? Isn't Spain a really like closed society though? I thought that the social democrats in Spain are extremely aggressive.
Like,
Spain has like a whole bunch of far right parties. Spain is a,
Socialist.
Spain is a clusterfuck. Let me just bring up. Spain
Okay,
had a
well,
period of like 3 years where there was no government.
could be Colombia.
Lega, the right-wing Lega party, to become biggest party in Italy by almost 9 points according to projections.
Oh, there's some results coming in from Slovenia.
The Eurosceptics did good there, didn't they?
I think that they have a right-wing, not Eurosceptic party, as far as I know, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, so it was a mess in Spain. I love how there's a party called Yes We Can. Podemos.
Okay, let's see.
In Belgium, the right wing is making some headway, more than I would expect from them.
Oh, the Conservatives made their first seat. In, I think it was Eastern England.
Their first seat, Christ.
Oh, here we go. Results for Slovakia. Oh. Okay.
Luxembourg has gone incredibly left wing, unsurprisingly.
Let's see what's Slovenia up to. I have no idea. Really, it's not flooding.
Do you guys anticipate Change UK getting any seats?
I don't think
They're not
so.
gonna win
Change
anything.
UK is a party for retired Blairites who are going to lose their seats because they are sitting in majority Brexit areas, and yet they're the most anti-Brexit people in existence. So yeah, you can count on them not getting anything. They pretty much just want to unite with the Lib Dems at this point.
According to Total Slovenia News, the right win EU elections in Slovenia.
Yeah, that's this basically the story of this election, really.
The joint Democrats and People's Party won.
Yeah.
The mainstream right wing party has like a little populist party sort of informing it, I suppose.
It's so weird how in Europe People's Party is an instant signaling for right wing.
Yeah,
Instead
it's
of
weird.
left-wing.
Like in Spain or Spain is the one that immediately comes to mind.
Fox.
You know what? Okay, you guys probably can't hear it because I'm just gonna play something for the people who are listening. Nigel Farage's speech to the UK. To the EU Parliament. This was like the
Is
greatest.
he making a speech now?
No, this was just back from the day.
Is this the?
You have the charisma of a damp rag.
The one where he's. I think I know which one.
And the question that I want to ask, that we're all going to ask is, who are
Yeah,
you?
Farage is a good speaker.
I've
He
never
did
heard
the
of you.
"You're not laughing now" speech.
Nobody in
That was
Europe
good.
had ever heard of you.
My favorite one.
I would like to ask you, President, who voted for you? And what mechanism? Oh, I know democracy's not popular with you lot. And what mechanism do the people...
Tories lost both of their seats in London.
Yeah.
A bad night for the mainstream.
Yes, it is. It is.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, they're gonna whine about it, about the rising of the right, how this is dangerous. It's gonna lead to fascism or something. Or will this directly, like, lead to anything?
This might directly lead to censorship in Germany because the Germans are basically 2 steps behind the Chinese.
Okay, so results from Hungary are finished. Fidesz got 52% of the vote, and the anti-Fidesz coalition got 16% of the vote.
What did Jobbik get?
I don't know. Let me see.
What's outside of the anti-Fidesz coalition outside of Jobbik? Or whatever?
Well, the second largest party is the Democrat coalition, which is led by the former Prime Minister Frank Giursani, who's like this Tony Blair type figure who completely screwed the economy back in the aughts.
Yeah, Hungary got a massive win. That's good.
Momentum winning seats was a bit of a surprise, but then again, Momentum is a front group backed by George Soros that embraces all the most like they're pro transsexual, they're pro gay marriage, they literally want to tear down the border wall. And
Visualize my surprise.
they're shockingly popular among young people too.
Very capitalist anarchy, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. They're still listing Fidesz as EPP, even though I think they got kicked out of the EPP.
They got suspended. They haven't been formally.
Oh, really?
Okay. Sorry, just someone gave me money and they're asking, what about the French in the National Rally? They won. They only got one seat more than Macron did, but they came in first. So, with a quarter of the vote.
But that's what Marine Le Pen did in the first stage of the election last time. Is that she was the single biggest party, but in the general thing, she got 35%, I think.
Sorry, why do people dislike her so much in these circles? I never really understood that.
I don't know.
She gutted her dad's party, and her dad was just as legislatively successful as she was. So it apparently seems that just being called far right doesn't matter whether your positions are far right or not. So it seems that you could hold the positions of Sargon of Akkad, or you could hold the positions of
Adolf Hitler.
Adolf Hitler, and it doesn't matter. Just being called far right just results in the same.
Okay, but like she did say she would reintroduce the death. She said she'd reintroduce the death penalty.
Her dad was considerably harder than she was, and he had as much success as she did.
Right.
Yeah, Jean-Marie is like this charismatic character, and then people find Marie a lot more milquetoast and disappointing.
Well,
by herself, she's not that bad, though.
Well, my reason for disliking her is just that she represents old, failed leadership, and she needs to pass the torch on to someone younger and who doesn't have her baggage. Same thing with like Heinz Christian Strache in Austria. Well, he's gone now, but the old kind of nationalist style doesn't really it had its advantages, but it's time for a younger generation of leaders to come up.
Oh, sorry, I just need to do a shout out. GSP, thank you for the $3. I don't see a message. If you want to ask a question or something, just type it in the chat. Okay, so results are in for Belgium. So,
oh no.
Actually, that not bad.
They did better than I thought about them.
The ENF got 3, and the ECR got 3. So,
the other thing to keep in mind is that Belgium is also having elections today, so that's going to drive up turnout.
EPP. I don't think a right-wing party won a single seat in Estonia.
Estonia is really weird because I think Estonia has like a far right, or is that Latvia has a far right party in government?
No, it is Estonia.
But they're not voting right wing in the elections. It's weird.
Hey, Scotland results weren't too bad actually. I mean, I had unbelievably low expectations, but the Brexit Party got 16%.
Oh, that is better.
The Conservatives getting 12%, and the Lib Dems getting 13%, and the SNP getting 38%.
I have a question.
Yep.
I always heard that the EU, that the actual European Parliament was basically ineffectual and it doesn't matter, and that the bureaucrats control the state.
That's right, yeah.
Like in Star Wars, the bureaucrats are in charge now.
European Commission is appointed by the states, and they're these unelected bureaucrats, and they make most of the decisions.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, any victories that our side has are purely ineffectual anyway.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah,
they're purely symbolic.
Largely meaningless. These are largely meaningless.
I mean, like the media will make a huge shitstorm about it, and they'll bitch and moan, but it doesn't really mean anything.
It doesn't really mean anything. It's a sideshow. But it does sort of reveal cracks though. It does show that there's
The amount of right wing people, I guess, it's just for revealing the amount of right wing people there are, basically.
well, yeah, because right wing people are the sort of people who really turn out in these elections anyway. Um, it's disproportionate, in fact.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually in London right now, and I came in on the day of the election last Thursday, and you wouldn't have even known there was an election going on. Nobody here seemed to care.
Yeah, I mean, Britain had a lower turnout than even the European countries. I think it was 37%.
Nationwide results from Britain with 40% of the vote in is Brexit is at 30% still.
Oh,
Er, what?
I was hoping they do better than that.
Oh, we'll see. There's still 60% of the vote to go.
Yeah, I mean, Scotland just came out, and Scotland was always going to be much, much anti-Brexit. Has Wales come out yet? Because Wales will almost certainly be Brexit.
I'm not. I haven't seen.
Okay, Czech Republic is not too bad actually. Um,
Yeah, they're always good.
Czech base Czechs.
I mean
That's
the
all I have to
the
say.
Czechs are like one of the most dildo parties in Europe, but they're fairly Eurosceptic. Um, okay, so that's a step in the right direction. Let me see Slovenia. Okay, where's Slovakia? Is Slovakia out yet?
Actually,
Yeah, Slovakia's done. Okay, so someone's asking for an update on France. The National Rally got 24%.
Okay. Uh,
Slovakia. So Slovakia is doing pretty well. Parties, right wing coalition is taking control. I think.
Let's see here. So we have Belgium. Let's look at BBC with the big black C is saying at the moment. Okay, so Lithuania.
So the far right made ground in Slovakia, but the pro EU liberals are also making ground.
Lithuania actually has a conservative Green Party, so that's probably why that's there.
Lithuania.
Yeah.
oh my god. God. Michael Gove is running. He's honestly, I cannot imagine why anybody would support him in existence.
Who's Michael Gove?
He's just the single worst conservative politician out there.
He's basically a conservative name only.
Yeah, but like he's like this weird slimy guy, and he's just so unlikable. It's unbelievable.
He kind of has that kind of, so to speak.
Yeah. Plus, he's like totally dominated by his wife. The guy's a complete joke.
Lit.
In okay, so in the thing about Lithuania is they have a conservative Green Party, so that's why the Greens got seats there. I think they're like the
You notice
only
it's official.
country.
See
Sorry.
you guys later.
See you, man.
What Michael Gove's official position is? Chief
What?
Whip.
Yeah, that's so awful.
I think that's funny.
Oh, okay. So London's done. So Brexit Party won 2 seats in London.
That's really good news, actually.
Conservatives won 0, but
That's brilliant.
East of England. Let's see here.
East of England was pretty bad, I think.
No, Brexit won 3 seats and Conservatives won 1.
Yeah.
What about total EU parliament breakdown? Well, I'll bring that up in a second, Kyle. I'm just going to finish going through this. Northeast, 2 Brexit, 1 Labour. Belfast. Who cares about Belfast? DUP won in North Ireland, so that's good.
Yeah, that's
That's not too shocking.
Let's see. Wales share for Wales is at 33% Brexit, which is good. Let's see here. Just seeing. Okay, so someone was asking about the overall balance of power. So let's see here what we're at.
At least the York votes.
So with regards to the overall balance of power, the center left and center right coalition have lost their ability to govern. So we'll see if they bring like the liberals in, or if it's just going to be a lot more chaotic from now on.
I think that we're going to be seeing quite a lot more chaos. Generally.
Well, that's good.
Because the left coalition seems to be fracturing. The center left has lost, and the Greens are kind of coming up. And the right, the mainstream right, is fracturing, and the kind of, well, I don't know, the proper right is actually doing.
Okay, sorry, Krista Hikari cheers $5 and says, press F for Sargon's political career. Yep, can we get an F in chat for Sargon?
Yep.
Unironically, like I said, I actually have gained a lot of respect for him for.
Brexit
He actually went ahead and did it, and I think that real life politics is what the right has to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Brexit party wins in Wales.
Oh, here we go. Wales results. Brexit. Okay, Brexit got 2 seats. Plaid Cymru, or however you pronounce it, got 1, and Labour got 1.
That's pretty expected. Ooh, what's going on in Brussels? Oh, Brussels is good news, actually. That's very, very surprising.
Oh, here we go. More results are in. West Midlands. West Midlands is 3 for Brexit, 1 for Conservative, 1 for Labour, 1 for Lib Dem, 1 for Green. So it looks like pro-Brexit parties will probably win a majority of the seats.
How is Malta doing?
Malta, I think.
Malta, the Social Democrats won 4 out of the 6 seats.
All right.
So the I'd imagine the UK results should be done pretty soon.
Yeah, I think so. I think we voted on Thursday, so.
It's funny how fast ballots get counted in Canada, because it's just like we know who like the final results within like 2 hours of it ending. So.
Well, if I recall correctly, the UK is that weird. The ballots have to be counted at one location, then announced publicly. They don't do results continuously like the U.S. or Canada does.
I worked a poll one year. If you ever get a chance, it's kind of an interesting experience. You just kind of sit there all day. The government actually pays you. I think it was like $200. It wasn't terrible money, and you just kind of sit there and you give people their ballots, and then you get to just at the end count them.
Yeah.
But because Canada has a very simple ballot, we have like the person's name and then a circle next to it, and you check the circle you're going to vote for, and the circles aren't close to each other, and that seems to, I know it's crazy, that seems to work, but they want to like, at my whole poll there was no spoiled ballots. Everyone was able to vote properly. Whereas, like, in the U.S., it's hard to tell a lot of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, back in 2016, I worked as a election judge on election day, and I was living in Chicago at the time, and the ballot was 3 pages long. So you had, president, you had comptroller, senator, you had a state senator, state representative, local special use districts, and 8 million judgeships. Most of them were running unopposed. Democrats running unopposed.
Yeah, I mean, my uncle counted the polls in a newly independent African country, and it was really crazy. There was this woman, and she just started crying because she thought that she didn't understand the concept of private ballot, So she thought that if she voted for the wrong one, she'd just get killed by some tribal leader.
Oh,
And so my uncle just grabbed one of her polls and just threw it in a random one, and then she was relieved. I mean, it was pretty crazy.
Let's see, BBC election. Let's see if there's any more updates. West Midlands. It's weird, they haven't put it up yet on the Guardian hasn't put up the UK yet. Maybe they're just like, maybe it's like it was funny on election night with CNN because it took them so long to call Florida. Even when it was obvious that Trump had won, it took them like an extra 2 hours to call Florida.
Okay, well, West Midlands Brexit Party wins quite convincingly.
I don't know if it'll give them any, like, the Conservatives or whoever, any, like, bit of a mandate to carry out Brexit. I'm not really sure.
Oh no, it won't. This does not really matter. I think it would. I think it will pressure the internal Conservative leadership, but I'm not sure if it will do anything other than that.
Okay, yeah. Latest results: Brexit is at 32%.
That's weak sauce.
Oh, that's hilarious! Look at Salvini's shirt. Is the two women on it? And like,
Oh, that guy knows how to troll.
I love Salvini. Salvini's the best.
Salvini is kind of like what everyone hoped Trump would be.
Uh-huh.
in poll in the EU elections thread, the Italians are all posting Duce, Duce, Duce.
I think Salvini gets like mobbed whenever he goes out in public.
Does he?
Okay, let's see what Liga Nord is at. Liga is currently at 31% in the next Italian election, which I think is double what they got. I think they'll probably double their vote share. Okay, just seeing. Okay, they haven't posted any updates. So I guess so far it's like not as good as we might have hoped, but it's better than we might have feared, I guess is how I describe it.
This is probably, if you're kind of being realistic, less it would have been, acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not invested in this very much. I mean, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really. The important thing is that the current coalition is no longer able to, well, be a coalition based on size.
I guess that's it.
I wonder if I'll try to do a Canadian night one. I'm not sure I'll see if I'm around that night. I'll try to be around that night.
So I think Spain has come out at this point.
Is Spain so left wing?
Spain is not very good.
I don't know who. Oh, okay. You know what? They're the other. Vox is other because I don't think they're part of any. They'll probably be part of like either conservatives and reformists or nationalist bloc. But
Vox is basically neocons, from what I hear from people in Spain.
they do want to repeal gay marriage, so I'll give them that.
That's good, but I don't know. Better than a lot of the other options.
Let's see here. If the BBC's, I think the BBC's put out more results. Yorkshire and the Humber, 3 for Brexit Party, 1 for Labour, 1 for Lib Dem, 1 for Green. Magid. What kind of the fuck kind of a name is Magid? Who names their kid that?
Liberals. There's, I don't know.
Sinn Féin, man.
Hopefully the results will be done in the next like 20 or 30 minutes, and then we could wrap it up. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know what countries we're still waiting on. Ireland's done, Spain's done, Malta's done, Sweden's done. Oh, okay, here we go. Let's see. None of those countries are members of the EU. I don't know. They still will not put up the UK on the. It's the only country that they refuse to put up on the EU Parliament website. I don't know if they just don't want to announce it till it's completely done or what.
Well, Tommy Robinson has accepted defeat.
So I want Tommy Robinson to run a civil war.
Yeah, let's see how that goes.
Clear the elections illegitimate.
Kyle Dawson asked, please give us a count of how many Muslims have won. I don't know if there's really any way to tell that other than just going through and looking at the name of every EU Parliament member.
The Denk Party in the Netherlands is explicitly pro-Muslim, so I guess you could check that. But Yorkshire.
The Yorkshire guy, Yorkshire Liberal Democrat is named Shafaq Muhammad.
Okay, Czech Republic. Okay, Czech Republic went Eurosceptic.
That's good.
The Greek person there's called Majid.
Majid.
This whole night is just an argument against democracy.
Well, it's just the way the EU is set up. It's not possible. No, it's not possible for anyone to ever get a majority, but also just, yeah.
Designed to get nothing done, and it succeeds basically.
Yeah, well, designed to get, yeah, it's designed to prevent actual democracy from working. And I don't really like actual democracy, but actual democracy would be preferable to rule by.
I like actual democracy because actual democracy tends to destroy itself, basically.
Yeah, but like actual democracy is preferable to rule by the elites.
Yeah, it is. Because when you get actual democracy, first of all, it just eats itself, and second of all, it's not so bad because nefarious force controlling everything and trying to corrupt the populace, basically.
Okay, someone has messaged me in chat and said, look up Megade. He is a living meme. Someone is asking, is Sargon listening to Come Sweet Death tonight? He probably is. I can't.
Well, to be honest, I mean, Sargon, if he looks at the polls, he probably saw this coming a mile off. I have to give hats off for him, though.
What is UKIP at in the UK? Did they get any?
I think they're at 6%.
They might get one seat.
Oh, Brexit's at 31% now, about 32% about, with 55% of the vote counted.
I'm just trying to see if there's any update slightly. Choose a country. Oh, okay. UK is coming in. Oh no, that's turnout. That's not anything useful.
Let's see. That's pretty good. The Conservatives get beaten in the Prime Minister's constituency. Jeremy Corbyn lost his own constituency.
Oof. Getting F in chat for Jeremy Corbyn's constituency.
So the three Eurosceptic right wing parties have about as many seats as the center right does. They have more seats collectively than these Social Democrats do.
The centre right are more or less one step to the right of far left, though. So, I mean, I guess it's like...
No, I know, but it's they at least are getting a fair amount. Okay, no, sorry, I think they might have. Let me see how many collectively the ECR. I know ECR probably is kind of shit, but I'll take what I can get. Okay, so the Eurosceptic right wing parties have the same number of seats as the center right party does. So I don't know.
I'll take anybody who doesn't immediately censor, you know.
I love how Article 13 or whatever it was passed because the Swedish Democrats pressed the wrong button.
I don't believe that. I think they're covering their asses.
Yeah, I think they probably rigged it or something.
How is that really covering their ass, though? To say,
Well, I mean, let's say you're Sweden and you don't want to look like you just passed through Article 13 and you say, oh, sorry, we just accidentally did it when it was actually deliberate.
What's D party? What the fuck is that?
In Germany?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, D party.
Oh, it's some dildo political satire party.
Yeah, it's terrible. Let's look at Austria. Oh no, I don't want to look at Austria.
France, Italia, Romania, Portugal.
Okay, I think we've pretty much got all of them at this point. I mean,
I'm just gonna wait till we're done UK and then we'll finish off after that. Let's see here. Has the BBC updated yet? No. I feel like it should be done in the UK by now.
I think Northern Ireland might still need counted.
maybe that's it.
Oh, is Northern Ireland what's holding it up? Yeah, that sounds likely actually.
Socialists wins decisive victory in Spain.
Socialists aren't even really socialists. I would actually like them more if they were like actual socialists, but they're just social suck dems with a red coat of paint.
Well, Vox did not do very well this election.
Oh, good God, they did really badly. Yeah, no, the socialists dominated in Spain.
The Freedom Party did terrible in Austria.
Michael
AFD
Heseltine
didn't do bad actually.
You know, Michael Heseltine has always been the sort of token conservative on all of the BBC like platforms and stuff, and he's voted for bloody Lib Dems. What an absolute conservative, just a quintessential example.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people are saying in poll that Sargon killed UKIP, but I don't know. Did he really have that much of an impact on their chances?
No, they were sunk long before Sargon showed up. Well, with Farage had like 90% of the party left, so I don't really get how it's his fault.
The thing is that before Sargon came along, it was just sort of Gerard Batten, and they were in a really bad position. Sargon got lots of support for the party, but then he also drew loads of controversy. And to be honest, you can't really blame them with all of the media coverage plus the Brexit party. They were finished.
Whatchamacallit did pretty good. The Swedish Democrats were tied for second, so they got 2 seats. Let's see here. I love how Norway's not part of the EU, but they put it on their currencies as part of the EU. I think they put Switzerland on it too. They have all like these. They just have it as on their money, just Europe now. Like even the countries who aren't part of it, they just said fuck it. It looks too ugly if we don't include them.
So at this point, is there any hope for Britain?
I think there's hope maybe for England proper. I don't know. Scotland, I think, is done.
What do you mean Scotland's done?
I just don't think it's politically reversible there necessarily.
Yeah, but demographically, Scotland's in a much better position than England.
That's true.
Right.
I don't know. It's an interesting
It's
question.
really hard to call.
A friend of mine had a really good description of the difference between the UK and Sweden. Sweden is a Melvin who's being cucked. So Sweden's a Melvin who thinks Ahmed is his son, whereas the UK is a Chad that's being cucked. So he believes Ahmed's his son, but because he's not as big a pussy by default.
Beat the shit out of anyone who says he isn't his son.
Yeah. Which is kind of why like the UK goes more balls to the wall than some of the other countries. At least that's my friend's
In terms
theory.
of like censorship and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Letting migrants rape children in Rotherham.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking: Brexit Party wins region of southwest UK by more than 13.5% points.
Okay, Southwest Wales, 3 for Brexit, 2 for Lib Dem, 1 for Green. Oh no, Southwest, not Southwest Wales, just Southwest.
That's not surprising. Britain is also like it's. I'd say it's probably one of the most class snobbish kind of places. Like if you understand the sort of social classes in Britain, then you'd understand why somebody like Tommy Robinson never been elected immediately. Less so than in other countries.
Yeah, it was sad because I went to the UK in November. It had kind of been a lifelong dream of mine because my background is English and German. And it's such a beautiful country. It's so sad to see it kind of go in the direction it is.
Yeah, it really is. It's such a shell of Britain.
Like just going to downtown London because I spent a couple days in London, just seeing all the like amazing monuments and stuff from the Victorian era, and like the Globe Theatre, and it's just
On the drain.
yeah, it's just all down the drain.
Yeah,
Rural England doesn't seem like it's been that badly hit yet, at least.
I like
Rural England is it's extremely bleak for reasons such as the gutting of railway lines, but
Right.
but the thing is that it is just still beautiful and it's fairly unspoiled.
You
But the
have
actual living there.
I was shocked how expensive trains were in the UK.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I bought a rail pass for like $600, so I had unlimited usage. But I started adding it up, and I would have reached $600 in like 2 days.
It's true. I mean, one time I was going to go from Manchester to Liverpool, and instead of taking the train, I took a plane trip over to Berlin, stayed the night in a hotel, and it was cheaper than taking the train. And then took a plane back. It's ludicrous. There's no reason why you should ever take.
I think my parents are going from Edinburgh to London once because they're in the UK actually at the moment on a vacation, and it was like over $100 Canadian to go from
Yeah.
Edinburgh to.
Yeah, I mean, it took me.
That's really expensive one.
It cost me like $25 to get from the airport to where I am. By the way, I got to roll out. Arjun, thanks for having me on.
Oh, thanks for coming on, Forney. Have a good day. Well, I could guess a good evening because you're in the UK.
One thing I wanted to say was I sort of get. I think that Britain's a nice country and all, and they've built beautiful architecture, but I think that the British Empire is responsible for the state of this, basically, the modern world.
I don't know about that. I mean, it's got a certain amount of truth to it.
I mean, they screwed over South Africa. Basically, they
I don't know. I think South Africa's South Africa kind of screwed themselves to a certain extent.
to an extent, but the British Empire was the one. So originally, there weren't actually that many blacks in South Africa. Basically, went
Oh,
into a
you mean
Boer-
okay? Yeah, during that time period, yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
the Boer War
Well,
was like the worst thing. Sorry,
Canada, even Rhodesia.
I'd say the worst thing the UK ever did was the Opium War, and the second worst thing was the Boer War.
Oh yeah, they were both absolutely awful. Britain has certainly done its fair share. I mean, Exeter Hall diplomacy in general was a disaster. Look at what they did to Italy and Greece and good God.
Like I didn't really mind that when they took over India because I think things were largely better then. But the Opium War I don't think is justifiable.
It really was. Generally speaking, I think that colonialism, which is done purely for profit, is not nearly as bad as certain other forms of colonialism.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah.
for example, if you look at American colonialism, like United Fruit Company style, in places like Central America, these were some really clean, nice countries to live in back in the 30s and 40s and stuff. But if you compare like ideological colonialism, and if you know what I mean,
USSR,
that's always much worse.
like the USSR.
Yeah, but also like I think that there were certain efforts in Africa that were disastrous.
Now, like to be fair, like kind of the whole eternal angle thing. Like no one mentions the eternal crowd or the eternal frog or
People mention
the eternal
the
what?
eternal crowd.
They do? Okay, maybe some. Okay, I haven't heard it too often. Also,
Yeah.
there's the Eternal Ruski because they did a lot of shit during the Cold War.
Oh yeah. I mean, the thing is about the English is that all of the other colonial powers were just as bad in Africa, at least. So, it's just that we were the biggest, and we treated their colonies much worse.
This is the Overlord.
Committed genocide in
Oh yeah, multiple times.
but they're not really remembered for that. Ironically enough.
No, they're not. Like in Namibia and stuff.
Namibia. Fun fact about Namibia: did you know that there's like a majority German city in Namibia?
There is, yeah. There's actually, it's one of the few reasonably safe places to live as a white person in Africa.
Only coincidentally.
Well,
Purely, it has the highest quality of life in the country.
yeah, total coincidence.
Let me see. Is there any? Why haven't they called the UK yet?
No, because they're. Apparently, they only have, according to the BNL, they only have like 60% of the votes counted.
Really? Okay,
The
that's
UK is much slower at counting results than other countries because we have a stupid way of counting.
right.
Well, anyway, that wraps it up for me. Good night and good luck.
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
I think I'm gonna call it there because I think we've gotten through everything. Thanks for coming on, guys.
I think we basically know how
Thanks.
Britain's
See
gonna
you.
go.
Well, so I think I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you everybody for who joined in, and especially for the people who contributed to my tax bill for the year. So I think overall the results aren't bad. We'll see. Hopefully, the EU will get kind of destabilized for this because, like I said, the coalition that has traditionally held an absolute majority has been dethroned, and we'll see how this all kind of goes on. Once again, the results could have been better, but they could have been much worse. Anyways, guys, God bless. As always, we must dissent.